There's more than one way to divide. Typically, when I use division, I use the standard method or the standard algorithm that looks something like maybe this or this, but let's try an alternative method that works for many students. It still involves divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down, but we'll be doing a bringing up instead of bringing down. 627 divided by 3. So to start out with the box method, one thing that um, you need is your 627 um, broken up into your hundreds, tens, and ones. And you want to leave enough room on each side of the number because you may be adding a number when we do this step, the bring up. So we're dividing by 3. I have the 3's here just in case we need to refer back to multiplying by 3's. So first thing we do in long division, we divide. We start with our first number in the dividend and we think of 6 divided by 3, or what number times 3 is 6. May not be exactly 6, but in this case it is. 3 times 2 equals 6. So that means that my division part here is done. So I'm going to check that off the list. I have divided. Now multiply 2 times 3, that's 6. Subtract 0. Same multiplying, same subtracting, but if you notice the 0 here and the arrow here, we're going to take that 0 and instead of bringing down what we normally would do, which would be the 2, we're going to add that 0 in front. And I really know that that's just a number 2. So if your answer is 0, you don't have to bring it up here, but now I'm just thinking of 2. How many times? Because we're going to repeat with division. How many times does 3 go into 2? 0 times. 0 times 3 is 0. Subtract 2. Bring up in front of the 7. That's important. It's just like we would be bringing a 7 down next to the 2. How many times does 3 go into 27? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. That's my division step. 9 times 3 is 27. Subtract, no remainder. Let's do a little bit more of a challenging problem using the same method. Mrs. Miller has 4,921 pennies to divide equally into 14 groups, or maybe not equally, there might be a reminder. So this time we're using 2-digit division. And so in order to use the box method here, we can still put a line here if you want, but if you already know that you're going to use 49 together as your first step, you can use a box kind of like this, okay? So 14 goes into 49. 1, 2, 3 times. Got it. That's my division step. Multiply. 3 times 14 equals 42. Subtract. Bring up the 7. So now I have 72 divided by 14, which I have my 14ths over here to the side, is 5. 5 times 14 equals 70. Subtract 2. This is normally where you would bring down, but instead you take this 2 up here. See why it's important to leave room to squeeze in that 2 before the number that was there. Okay, how many times does 14 go into 21? That's the division part. We're starting over. So 14 goes into 21 one time. 1 times 14 equals 14. Subtract, and we have a remainder of 7, just like we did practicing the other method, which is the standard algorithm. This is the box method.